Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Customer Success Career Masterclass. This is a powerful IT career development session. So, in this course, I will be talking to you about how to start a career in customer success, and especially if you are coming from a background in customer service or work in help desks, or even if you just want to find a way to get into career in IT if you're a student graduating from university or in university. This is a career that I would recommend that you should highly look into and explore into. It's one of the easiest ways to get into IT as of right now, and it's a very recent type of role that is coming have come up. It's not This role haven't been there for a long time, so and it's ideal for people who want to get into IT but don't have a IT background or coding background. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So let me give you a little bit about my journey and how I got started, so you know exactly why you should even be listening to me. So my name is Dulik. I help people start their careers in tech and customer success, and also help them use a basically get started in a career called Salesforce as well. But mostly this one I'll be talking to you specifically about how to start a career in customer success. And so what did I do before I was in customer success and career consulting? What I was doing before, essentially, I graduated from University of Toronto and studied psychology. And once I graduated from UFT, I started my career at Oracle as a technical support analyst. And for the first 2 years, at this I think I joined Oracle when it was 2014. So first 2 years I couldn't really get anything that is meaningful that I would love to do. I work in few call centers and will few customer support type of roles. And it is only in 2014 that I started to work as a technical support analyst for Oracle. And when I was working there, I started to learn about more about tech and how the industry is going to be. And I decided to do certifications in different technologies that really helped me out later in my career. Okay, so that's one of the things I also recommend for you guys, is that start looking into some of these certifications you can take, that are at least entry level, if you are planning to get into tech, right? So that's really what really helped me in the beginning. And in 2018, I became a senior consultant helping customers implement different type of technology, including Salesforce and different marketing automation technology. Again, they were very technical roles, but with the certifications and the experiences that I had over time, really helped me become successful in these roles. And in 2019, I became a client success director for a large consulting company, helping customers, essentially customers like Lenovo was actually one of the previous role. I was working with a company called DirecTV, implementing marketing solutions for them using technology. And along the way, I decided to help my friends, few of my friends who graduated or who was graduating at that time in university, to kind of get them interested in, like, Salesforce and customer success and these kinds of things, and told them, okay, these are the things you should be doing also. So, and some of them actually got really successful roles, and some of them are working as consultants right now. One of them got promoted to be a senior consultant, and they are really nicely progressing in that. And one of them actually started their own company as well, own consulting company. So I kind of help whoever I can at that time to kind of move forward with their career. So it kind of helped them out and helped me out as well over time, right? So that's kind of what happened before. And now what I'm doing is essentially creating online courses and writing books and things like that for people to essentially get them started in tech, because I see there's so much opportunity, but there's not many people know about this stuff, or about how to get into these careers, right? So that's what I'm trying to start to focus on my career towards now. And I also work on running online communities, so that way people can learn how to get into tech and how to interview, how to do resumes and LinkedIn. So we kind of talk about those things in our communities as well. And right now I'm working on essentially coaching professionals who are pretty serious about their career and want to advance their career and their life into the future. So I'm working with professionals who are really interested in at making an impact in terms of their life and what they can do for different companies, and how to obviously earn more money and have a more skilled and more fulfilled life, right? So that's one of the things that I'm working on and helping people with. So what would you be learning in this webinar, this session, right? So one of the first things we will talk about is why should you choose a career in customer success management, right? So that's one of the things that we will talk about. Second, we will talk about what would you be doing as a customer success manager, right? And how to get customer success management skills, some of the pathways, some of the things that I can recommend for you, right? And also a few ways for you to help, few ways for recruiters to find you. Actually, I'm going to give you things that actually worked for me and my students in the past, that got them tremendous amount of success in terms of using LinkedIn and things like that. And the next thing I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to give you key customer success interview tips and advice that you can use to help with your journey, and then help with not just customer success roles, but also any type of interviews that you're looking to do. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of show you my program, right? I'm going to show you kind of the boot camp slash coaching program that I have set up for you guys, that lasts for about 3 months, and essentially get a customer success manager job in 3 months, and that pays at least 70K, and then how that would work out for you and how to get that going for you. Okay. That's what we'll talk about. And so yeah, we'll see why should you choose a career in customer success. So as I see, customer success profession, right, is one of the fastest growing tech professions in the world, right? I think it's like I think I read an article on LinkedIn. I think it's like the sixth fastest growing profession. Now, I don't know if it's overall profession, but it's a tech profession, but it's one of the highest growing tech professions in the world, simply because many people, it's only now companies are putting effort and time to making sure their own customers are successful. So there's a huge demand for this role. So you can see starting around like 2019, right? 2020, 2019 is where this role started to really become huge, right? And you will see this trend will continue to go up, and there will be more types of role that will be coming under customer success, right? There will be roles like customer success associate, customer success manager, customer success director, right? Client success director. So anything, all those, anything that relates to that kind of job or role, right? So one of the key things you will learn is that once you kind of started to get into this arena, you can actually get into like sales positions really quickly and really fast as well. And same with when you want to get into like account management. So you will learn the skills that are needed for those roles as well. Okay. So that's something I wanted to talk to you about. And then for these roles, they are really great compensation packages, honestly. So one of the things that I've seen that people in these roles, like generally the conversations around like the average salary is about 75 and up. And then I know some people will say it's a, companies will come in 65, but I'm telling you, they have a lot more budget for this role. They usually budget about 70 to $85,000 for this role, for entry level, right? So make sure that you get paid that right way for this role if you are applying. So that is the rate for entry level role, and it's reasonable to for people to offer you 75, 80K, depending on experiences you had previously. Like if you're really coming from some sort of a customer facing role from before, you can go for that mark 75, 80K. Okay. And but there is a little bit of training you need to do, a little bit of experience that you need to gather for your under your resume and for yourself, that will kind of show you more your ability to kind of be successful in these roles when you're applying them. Okay. And a pattern I also see is that if you have about 2 to 3 years of experience, your salary can jump to well over 100K. I've seen people making over 200, close to $300,000 just working in sales, right? Sales and customer success and things like that. If you especially did well in customer success, you'll be moved on to doing like more enterprise account management and things like that. So these numbers are, I would say, like, I'm being very conservative right now because I want people to not, like, I don't want to overpromise. I want to underpromise and show you, like, look, there's actually, you can make a lot more money if the money is what you're concerned about in this arena. Okay, so kind of get you an understanding in that. And also the skills that you will learn in these roles are extremely valuable for not just for your life, for your current career or current jobs. It's going to be very valuable going into the future as well, especially the, things like relationship management, communications, problem solving, sales, mentoring, strategic planning, project management, and cloud computing. These skills, these things are really, really extensively used right now at workplaces. And then if you can get on this role, get on some sort of a role like this, you kind of get exposed to a lot of these skills that are valuable for you, for your future, and for your future specifically. Like if you were to start your own company, or if you were to start doing a more of a higher level role, that you can already get these, your hands on experience with these skills by participating in a role like this. Okay. And another great thing about this role is that you, even though it's a like it's a technical role, like much of the companies that are right now looking for customer success managers are essentially software companies, right? And then people don't know how to use software. So, like, what you'll be doing, we will talk about specifically what you'll be doing. You will not be doing a lot of coding and programming and anything things related to that. Not that you will not learn this stuff, the concept that are related to, like, object oriented programming and agile methodologies, and test driven development and things like that. You will get exposed to this, but you won't need to know specifically how to do them, right? How to coding, how to do, like, how to code things into it. You will know, you will learn about them, you will see how it works, but you will not need to code. So essentially anybody can start and get a job in customer success if they have the right preliminary skills not related to coding. And if they have coding, obviously I'm going to tell you, you'll be a lot more successful in this role. But right now, as of things are, you don't need coding, and I don't think continuing going forward you don't need to learn coding. But I'm pretty sure if you end up a little bit in tech, you're gonna have interest towards learning a little bit of that, and I would recommend that. I can give you some recommendation on what kind of coding skills you should master also. But you don't need to learn coding to get started in this career, even though it's a, obviously a tech career. Okay. And the next thing I want to talk to you about, like, what would you be doing as a customer success manager, right? So many people have questions about this, right? So um, I've simplified the easiest way to explain it. This is, if you kind of understand how these aspects work, your job will become very easy. So customer success is about essentially proactively helping people solve problems and tackle challenges they are facing, right? So at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're proactively identifying, anticipating issues that clients would have, your customers would have, right? Usually with customer success role, you were assigned about 5 to 10 customers under your belt, under your plate, right? On your plate, essentially, that you are responsible for taking care of and making sure they're successful. And then what you will be doing is essentially proactively helping them solve problems and tackle challenges that they're facing with your best of your ability, right? Best of the, your company's ability. And then you're going to create plans, or you're going to create goals for that. You're going to get plans for that. You're going to get feedback, and you're going to work on those feedback to improve it. So that's kind of the idea, right? Proactively helping people solve problems, proactively giving them value that they need in order for them to be successful. Okay. And then there's usually three components you will see as a customer success manager that you'll be asked to do. Sometimes you'll be, kind of isolated to doing one of these ones, but much of the time you will do usually one or two of these, or sometimes you will probably end up doing, most of the time you'll be probably doing all three of them. Okay. So the first one is essentially onboarding. What onboarding is essentially making sure that you help customers to get started, right, with the products and services, and they achieve some sort of an initial success. So make sure that they started to get some successes right out the door by giving them specific resources, giving them specific sessions, like you can have get on a call with them and show them how a specific application work, right? For example, say that they bought a software called Salesforce for their company to make sure that they're running properly. You can have an onboarding process there where where you show them how to get some of those initial successes with the application, right? Basically email, and like basically emailing, sending notification to salespeople, and how to configure that, right? So some of those onboarding stuff is basically just giving them, like showing them where things are, showing them where the knowledge bases are, and showing them where the community are, showing where they can create a support ticket if they have any issues. So kind of showing them things that are related to that is what you would be doing in onboarding, kind of hand holding them in the first few weeks, essentially, to become successful, help them become successful for them. Okay. And the second component is that once you kind of do the onboarding, you're going to make sure that they have ongoing success, right? So this is to help customers achieve success with the product and services ongoing basis through specific goals, plans, feedback, playbooks, right? You will hear this word a lot, where essentially you will hear about like something called a playbook, where you kind of give them step by step on how to achieve something. So you will both show them these playbooks, and you was also responsible for creating these playbooks and knowledge articles and things like that. So you learn multiple skills in this role, and really you really get improved in your communication skills, writing, speaking, and presenting, right? In addition to the technical skills you will learn. So really valuable three skills you brought out the door that you will learn from doing this, getting into this role. And the next aspect is that you will provide technical support, right? So that means how well do you understand the product of their customer has bought, and then provide technical solutions for it. So they obviously, when somebody buy like some sort of a technical software, right? Like the marketing automation, or there's so many software right now, right? So when you personally start in one of those roles, make sure that you really understand the software really well, and make sure that you understand what are some of the common issues people, like individuals, running into, or users are running into with the software when they first get it. And when you can help yourself solve these things specifically, like obviously when you join a company, you wouldn't know how their software work, but you still need to help your customers. So really, you taking the time to understand how the software work, what are the common issues that the technical support team is running into, and you coming up with ways to solve them, right, will really help you become good at with technical support if you have to provide that to your customers later on. Okay, so that's one of the main things that you will also learn, is that learn how technical aspects of software work. What like basically the nomenclature, the words, different things that you need to understand, like how like the technology behind the scenes are set up in order for you to successfully talk about it, right? So when you get into those roles, really get to know the product inside out, and why people like it, what is it doing, what is it not, what it cannot do, what are some of the problems that customers use to solve these issues. Like they buy software to solve some sort of an issue, right? So understand what sort of issues that they are essentially solving using the software. Okay, so that's one of the things. And if you want to read a little bit more about customer success, I have a link for you here. It's from HubSpot. You can Google it as well. What is a customer success manager, and what do they do? Just type what is a manager, and look for type HubSpot next to it, and you will find this link that basically kind of outline what they do day to day in these roles. Okay, really good article. So you might be kind of wondering, what is the difference between customer success and customer support, right? So this is a common question that people ask me. So essentially, customer success is about working proactively with customers over time to help them get the most value from the products and services, right? So you're proactively, you're anticipating the issues. You've seen what other customers gone through, and then you can now understand what this new customer would go through, and then you kind of creating plans and solutions for behalf of that, right? So that's kind of what customer success is about, right? And then you gather their feedback, right, based on the solutions you provided or based on the things that you provided, and then make it better continually, helping them to customer to kind of continually push them forward in the path of success, right? And that's kind of the what you would do in a customer success role. So on the customer support role, what most of the time what you're responsible for doing is react to respond or respond to certain questions that is either asked through like phone, email, or live chat or social media, and you go basically help them through with those specific issues that they are having difficulties with. So there is no plans, goals, or anything that is discussed. It's mostly, okay, what is your issue? Let's get you fixed up, kind of thing, right? So very reactive in terms of the approach. So that's a huge. The biggest difference is that proactive approach with customer success and then reactive approach with customer support. So just because you're in customer success, that doesn't mean that you don't get to do a lot of customer support. You will have to do a lot. Like I would say, 30 to 40% of your job will still involve some of those, helping customers with specific issues. Okay, so that's one of the things that you need to remember, that you will still run into specific issues that you need to help people with, that in order for them to kind of push them forward, right? Like when I was working at Oracle, like I had sometimes customer success managers come to me and ask me, what, can you take a look at this issue? We don't know how to solve this. And then I would help them, and then I can see they're actually on their own also working on this issue for them to help their customers become successful. Okay, so important to remember that you will still do some of the customer support, like slash technical support for your customer in these roles, but heavily what you will be doing, mostly creating more proactive solutions for them. So you might be wondering, okay, so I understand how customer success is going and what is it about. So why is it important for companies? Customer success essentially leads to business success. Like when you look at the research, that's what it clearly shows, right? So it improves customer happiness, loyalty. That's a huge one you will see over time, like where customer happiness and loyalty is more valued, right? Than even getting new customers. Because if you have a happy customer and loyal customer, they will go and tell other customers about how they got their success, right? Naturally, right? Like if I read a book that has really helped me, you don't think I tell people, right? That happens to us naturally, right? So this is kind of using the same kind of mentality where you provide such great service for somebody, they cannot help but tell it to somebody else. So the best way to do that is actually dedicate a team and a dedicated person who can do this for your team, right? And that's what customer success is great, and that's why I'm so excited about this field, is because you become successful and you help your customers become successful. So it's basically a win-win. This role is a win-win role, for in my opinion, for everybody. Okay, and then usually, if you're doing a great job, right, if you're actually bringing them success, they will essentially become your promoters and advocates, not just for your company but for you personally, right? They will talk about you. They will try to see if sometimes when I help customers before, they're just trying to find a way to bring me to their company, right? That happened many times because they realize how easy it is to work with me. They can work with me. I can actually give them valuable things that will help their career, and they're essentially they do their job easier. So it makes me more valuable for them. So that's really one of the things that you will find in this role, that you can really influence the companies in a positive way and people who works within them. And another key thing that you will see, this word is essentially essentially churn rates, right? What a churn rate is essentially is how many people leave or stop doing business with you, business with the company for within a year period, right? So for example, say that you have about 100 customers and then about 10 people leave, so your churn rate is about 10%, right? So how do you reduce that number, right? So the way to reduce is that we provide them value, provide them, give them specific way you can improve their company and how their companies run. So if they are having success, they're unlikely to leave you. So this is what helps customers right now. That at least why companies are investing in this, is that they have customers, but most of them leave, and they don't want them to leave, right? So the best way to prevent them from leaving is actually make sure that your customers do become successful, right? So that's what this role is going to come and help a lot of companies with, right? And the other aspect of it is that you can do a lot of improve renewals, right? Improve renewals and like sell more things that are more useful for your customer instead of just blindly, selling everything you got. You can help them renew the stuff, do more work when you're doing renewals, and show them this is how you're going to help you. And also it will help you with customer satisfaction over time, if when they realize that somebody's actually responsible for their success and growth, right? So that's one of the things. And this is essentially a research that was conducted by HubSpot, which is you will learn a lot about from coming from HubSpot specifically for customer success, is because they have kind of narrowed down this process really well by giving a lot of valuable content for people, making sure that their employees are followed up, employees following up with their customers as well. So you will learn about from a lot about from HubSpot. So this is a research essentially that was conducted by HubSpot to see if customer success is actually leading to revenue, right? So for example, you can see on the bottom here, let me see. Yeah, so bottom here says company revenue is growing. So 70% of the people, right? You can see company revenue is growing. 70 people who use consider customer success, right? Have their revenue essentially growing, right? And then 25 people said it is important, right? And then that's combined about 95% of the people who consider to be the very important see their customer like revenue going, company revenue growing. But you see people, if they were to analyze like the companies that are struggling or stagnant or decreasing revenue, not many as people find it to be essentially that important, right? So you can see about 15% of in this group are saying it's not so important, or they're neutral about it, right? So that's one of the things you will see, is that people who consider it to be very important and or important will see essentially their revenue grow over time. Okay, so that's something I wanted to show and see, and then it will kind of sheds you light on, like, does it actually help with revenue? It does. It's the HubSpot done research on this and actually found that is in fact the case. All right, so that's what I would say. So now what we can little bit talk about, okay, how do you even get some of these skills, right? So one of the things about getting these skills is that right now there's not many programs and things like that available right now, even online or anything like that as of yet. It's still picking up, it's still growing, right? But there's nothing as of right now that is can provide you end to end customer success skills, right? So I'm going to talk to you about few free resources and some of the things that I'm offering that can basically kind of help you getting started in this path. So if you look at, there's a like I said before, there's a really good software called HubSpot. So HubSpot has a place called HubSpot Academy that provides free courses in essentially sales management, and how to essentially do a little bit of customer service, customer success, and things like that. So there are these courses are generally related to sales, but their sales process involve doing a lot of customer success like work, right? So if you're brand new to this stuff, right, go take a look at the inbound sales course, take a look at the sales management training course, and take a look at some of these courses that I've identified on HubSpot Academy. Go to what I would say, if you're on the computer right now, take a look at type HubSpot Academy, and see some of the courses that are freely available for you to take, right? It could be there's some courses on digital marketing, and there's so many, right? So specifically related to customer success, is that these are the skills that I would say, these are the courses that I would recommend. Okay. The next one is essentially coaching and mentorship, right? The value behind coaching and mentorship is that somebody who's worked in the field or working in the field can give you specific steps on what you need to study or what skills you need to learn and master in order for you to be successful in a future role, or in order for you to get the next role. Okay, so that's one of the things that I personally provide. Is I've gotten people essentially started in this arena, and they are now, some of them are interviewing, some of them are working already. So I give them specific skills and specific courses that they need to study, but before that they didn't know anything about this field or anything what they needed to do or what they need to study or how to even look for jobs in that, right? So that's something that I personally provide through my coaching and mentorship, or find you even finding another coaching and mentorship. Make sure that they know how to like improve your LinkedIn, how to improve your resume, how to do interviews, how to get the key skills and training that is needed for you to get one of these roles. Okay, so that's one of them. And another thing is there are actually there are boot camps, right? So one of the ones I'm working right now is, in my one of the boot camps that I'm it's going to be called essentially customer success professional boot camp, that is guiding people how to essentially land a job in this field. It involves basically training. It involves essentially giving you an apprenticeship kind of program, that way you can use hands-on skills and you will get real life work experience, where we will create like onboarding lists, checklists, right? We will create customer success plans and things like that, like at least the templates, right? So really like getting understanding of like deep understanding how the work customer success work can be achieved through essentially boot camps and apprenticeships. And that's one of the things that I'm building and working. I'm going to show you essentially how you can sign up for one of them, based on what I've created for people, so that they don't have any background in tech or customer success before, so that you can enter into this field if you were to start working on them. Okay. And next is a work experience. So as obviously, if you have work experience, it's gonna you can gain the skills. So again, that's something that we're gonna provide during in our internship or apprenticeship programs or boot camps, that we give you actual work experience on how you can manage customers well using technology. Okay. So next thing I want to talk to you about, say that you got a little bit of experience and you want to essentially now put yourself out there. Even this you should be doing, even if you have minimal experience, that at least start thinking about improving your LinkedIn profile as soon as possible. So one of the main things, I kind of gave it away a little bit, but the best way to get recruiters to find you, right, is through LinkedIn, right? Narrow down in LinkedIn, right? So what happened when, like, I think it's close to 80 or 90% of recruiters are actually on LinkedIn looking for candidates, because the value about LinkedIn is that you can put a lot of information and you can learn a lot about um, um, job seekers, right? Simply because they have a lot more information that are there, and there's a lot more large candidate pool. So if you're not already utilizing LinkedIn, make sure that you started to push the ball forward to create a really good LinkedIn profile. Okay. That's one of the main things I would say. So one of the main things, update your headline. Make sure that it identifies a job that you do need to take. You do need to you are going after, essentially, right? Because you might be going after, you might just have some like your existing company's job role and things like that. But what I would say, just actually put in customer success as your headline if that's the type of role that you want, right? And then you can essentially start listing out any keywords that are related to that. So you can say sales management, client success, client management, and so forth, right? So that's one of the headlines that I would say that you can start thinking about putting. The next aspect is essentially like once you started to do a little bit of work in this field, start updating your education to show some of the HubSpot certifications you have gotten. Again, like I say, like HubSpot is very widely known in the software industry. Okay, so many companies who work with software have heard about HubSpot as being a really powerful CRM, similar to what you would call Salesforce. So you can start listing HubSpot Academy as one of your education and start listing out courses that you have taken. And it will obviously show your expertise in sales and customer success or software altogether by just listing them out as you complete them. And you will get a lot of valuable knowledge from those courses as well. Okay. So that's that one. So next one I would say is like essentially, if you're working on some sort of a role, especially customer service or help desk or anything related to that, update your experience to reflect your desired role that you want to apply. Talk about how you're helping your customers become successful. Talk about how what kind of plan, what kind of things that you're doing, how you're helping them, how you're helping solve them problems. So this is something that we will take a little bit deeper in our coaching and bootcamp sessions. But something that you can do on your own is try to see if you can improve the way you write your experience, so you can show them how to get the attraction on, based on the work you have already done. Okay. And the next thing is essentially increase your LinkedIn activity, right? Make sure that you comment on other people's posts. Make sure that you use likes to show LinkedIn what posts you like, right? So you can keep seeing posts that are related to customer success or people who are interested in customer success. So make sure that you start that journey. And then next thing is essentially follow up, right? No, follow with companies that are essentially hire customer success managers, and then reach out to them, right? This is one of the easiest things you can do, is that reach out to, basically you can see there are companies that are hiring for this role, right? So you can see, okay, who's hiring, right? You can go to jobs and you can see who's hiring and start following these companies up, right? That way you can, once you follow them, and you can start liking their content, or you can start commenting on them, right? So either of any of those things can happen, and then more of these people see, liking the content, or even like you commenting on them, they will increase the interest on who is this person liking and commenting on our stuff. We should reach out. So that's kind of the approach that I would take if I was you. Okay. So now you might be wondering, okay, so what type of essentially, um, you know, how do you even approach that? If you were to get a customer success interview, how would you approach essentially answering or working through getting prepared for this? So the best way I would say is essentially do a lot of research. Where the first step should be, you should do a lot of research on the company itself. Specifically look at their about us page, see what they're interested, what they are doing, what they're interested, who they're interested in helping, who they're what their products are essentially, products and services are targeting. Figure that out, right? What their products are, what their services are, and who do they serve as customers. Okay. Really get to know these things. And the next thing is, see if there's anything on the news, right? See if there's any specific news, positive news is specifically applied to their company. If you have any positive specific news, mention to them, right? You know what, I recently read that your companies went through an acquisition, right? Or went through this or went through that. Identify for them, right? And then it will show them your ability to do research and so forth. Okay. So that's one of the things I would say. And make sure the next one is that be fluent in answering the tell me about yourself question. So again, like, these are tips that I'm providing you for, not for just for customer success, in general, if you have an interview, right? So make sure that you write a really good tell me about yourself question. Talk about, when they ask you, okay, so Dulik, tell me a little bit about yourself. So I would say something like, for sure. So I would say I have 8 years of hands-on experience providing marketing automation and Salesforce consulting for companies, right? So that's kind of my first sentence, I would say. And then I will list out, so some of the work that I've been doing is basically gathering data, implementing flows, doing implementation and configuration for specific software. So I would list out specifically the tasks that I've done, that is related to the job that I'm being applied for. That's key, right? I'm going to talk about the specific tasks that I've done that are applied to the job, and then I would say, I would even end up with some sort of like a success that you had. I was rated as one of the best agents, blah blah blah. I also got like I continually got praises from my boss for doing this, and that's what I believe. That I basically talk about what kind of successes that you had right at the end, right? So, and then you can end up with saying like, what, let me know if you have specific questions about what my experience has been for the while. Okay. And then it will go into you getting asked other questions. So make sure that you really narrow down in answering the tell me about your questions really well, right? Write a script and then practice it until it's become second nature for you. Okay. That's one of the things I can tell you. And the next one is essentially create 20 to 30 interview questions and answer them, right? So I see that many people don't actually do this, right? Many people don't create they don't pre-write their questions that they would get and answers that they should give it to them. So I've given here essentially a link that there are some of the questions that from HubSpot, that you can use about 20 to 30 interview questions that once you start to learn and study them and then practice them, you will be these answers will become a lot more smoother during your conversation with your potential employer. Okay, so practice that, right? 20 to 30 questions, go through it and practice that. And the next thing is, I would say, before any interview, start like once you have done all these initial steps, make sure that you do a mock interview with yourself at least 3 times. Especially this is important if you're new to the field. Okay, so make sure that you take time to do at least 3 mock interviews, so to show your comfortness or comfortability of for the things that you're going to be talking about. And the more you practice this, you will see the more you become better at it. And like I said, the interview is one of the things that once you learn how to do, it will stay with you, and then every time you do it, you will just keep getting better. But learn to get better earlier. Don't focus on getting, oh, let me just get in, like interview is just something I have to do. No, like actually develop it as a skill before you get calls, right? Before you get things happening for you in terms of your even career success and things like that. And the next thing is, essentially, once you're doing your basically sessions, make sure that you record and study your interviews, right? Make sure that you take time to essentially study your interviews, and then like it's hopefully about the 3 interviews you're doing, you will essentially do them from before. And then if you were doing them, make sure that you record them and then see how you can improve and what you can do to improve it in more. Okay, so that it's like essentially a pro tip. If you can get yourself to do that, you will be very successful with interviews, right? That's one of the things. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the program that I'm offering, right? So that way, like I want to give you a specific path, the path of success that I can provide you for you to get the job that you need in customer success if you were to go in that direction. Okay, so essentially I'm running a customer success manager boot camp under my company, Coleman Institute, for essentially 6 week intensive training program, right? Available evening part-time classes. And what you will get this in this program, you will get actual apprenticeship that you can list out on your LinkedIn, that where we're going to be doing actual project and work experience. You're going to be doing actual work slash work, like project work experience, based on the type of work that we will be providing, right? So that's something that you will get to do, where you get hands-on customer success experience that you can list out into your company. And I'll become one of your essentially referrals, right? Or like essentially referees, if you ever need somebody to say, okay, like tell me about, give me somebody who can vouch for your work. So you would have to obviously do good work with me, right? But I will give you that experience that you need for you to essentially move on to the next role. Or if I'm starting to see how well you're working, maybe we'll get you hired in our own company as well. And the next thing I will show you, essentially get 6 industry certification from specifically HubSpot, on how to pass them and which ones specifically you need to get in order for you to get ahead in your career. Okay, that's one of the things that you will get. And then you will get mentorship and coaching, and from me and my team. So you will have personally for about 4 calls with me that you can essentially work with me and ask me question, and I'll give you some recommendation and guidance that where you need to go and how you should be doing things. So that's what I will provide you in this session, right? So there are a few bonuses that I will be giving as well. So we will have resume and LinkedIn upgrades, right? Make sure that your LinkedIn and resume is good. We will provide you interview prep, right? Basically, how I'll go through interview prep with you to make sure that you can answer these questions properly being asked in the interviews, right? And then we will get obvious and amazing community to learn and network. So what we're doing is we continue creating a network of companies and individuals companies who are looking for customer success managers, right? and then essentially a group of individuals who are going in this direction to become one. So we usually one of them gets a role and they're looking for another person in the company. They can refer you to go forward from that. So that's why we're creating a specific network for this to happen, right? And then we are also providing job search support. So like say that you're not you don't know how to find a job or where to find a job, we will provide you on locations on where to go. Another thing we are doing is that we are actually building out career fairs for customer success, specifically for people to get find jobs in that, and we are inviting companies and things like that to join us. Okay, so you will see the classes for this essentially boot camp is starting on June 1st, right? We have essentially rolling classes. So basically, we might start one in this June and then another one in July. So right now, we only have one available for June, right? So the total cost for this program is about 3,500 US dollars. For those participating in this webinar, it's going to be about $2,500. We're taking about $1,000 off for anybody who wants to be interested. But the thing is, you do have to get qualified for this program, right? Because I'm going to do a career assessment to see, if you have the right background that is necessary, right mentality that is necessary for you to get into this program, right? Because I want people who are pretty serious. This is a it's a pretty intense, serious program in that like we are looking for people who want to be successful and help companies become successful, because I am going to be referring some of these people to the companies that I want them to go to, right? So there will be a little bit of a career assessment, and then I'm going to also provide you some like tips on how to improve and to make your application improve, or like give you some direction on what you need to do as well, like even for your rest of your career. But either way, book a free session, right? So we can talk about a little bit about what you need to work on, what you need to do, how you go forward in next steps. We can talk about if it's even career, customer success right for you, because we have other programs that are coming up, right? So I can really get to know you and give you a proper understanding of it. So you will see the links available below for you to register for one, and essentially that's how we gonna get started. Okay, so either way, create a free session. Talk to me. We'll see if you qualify for the program. If not, we can give you some recommendation, and very likely that with with updates and everything, that you will be able to get into the program. We can give you some preliminary work that you can complete beforehand as well. And that's a lot of the times what we do is that we have the 6 weeks program coming, but there's a little bit of work like reading material that you can do earlier to get yourself ready for the program in a more comfortable way. Okay, so that's it for this session. Please reach out to me, book a free session, obviously book a free call, so at least we get to know each other, and then I can give you some recommendation on how you can approach and how to start a career in tech. Okay, all right, see you next time.